Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So, we're going to be taking a look at the week of August 12th. And before we get into the numerology, I just want to mention that the astrology this week is somewhat gnarly, could bring some intensity. And so, I highly recommend that if you have an astrologer that you normally watch, this is a great week to tune in just to kind of see what's at play in the skies because there's a lot. And it could really light the fire beneath us to make some changes within our lives, to be confronted with sort of how we show up to our experience, to different situations. There's a lot. So highly recommend taking a look at that with your favorite astrologer. From a numerology standpoint, it's interesting because we're working with incredibly beautiful energy this week. It's master number 33-6. And I want to kind of talk about sort of the lower expression of this energy and the higher expression of this energy, because I really do think that this is going to be a week where we're going to be kind of confronted with where we are in the lower vibration of that energy and where we're going to be sort of being pushed, not only this week, but over the course of, the coming years, to really step into that vibration and to really embrace it and to hopefully at some point in our journey embody it. So we'll break that down and we'll talk about it. But I was thinking about this morning, and I think, I don't normally recommend books on this channel, but if I were to recommend a book to read or reread, if you've already read it, that really would help to work with the energies this week, and sort of tap into the higher octave, especially of the 33-6, it's the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is such an incredible book. I'm not going to go into it and what it means and all those things or what it says. But if you haven't read it, this is a great week to read it. If you have read it, this is a great week to reread it. All right, so let's break down the 33-6 because this is the energy that's going to be coming in really, really strongly this week. And yeah, let's just break it down. So the 6th vibration is that of love, truth, and honesty, right? It's going to bring to the surface everything that does not meet, that is not at that frequency, right? So we're constantly, when we move through this cycle, we're constantly being sort of confronted with or faced with where it is that we are out of alignment with the vibration of unconditional love, truth, and honesty. Conditional love is something totally different. That's very man-made, very ego-driven. Unconditional love is very soul-driven. It's divine, right? It does not discriminate. It's incredibly accepting, universal, all of the things. So it's incredibly beautiful energy, but it's incredibly difficult to step into it and maintain that vibration. So this week, we could be, again, confronted with where it is that our relationships with ourselves, with others, comes with a bag of conditions or expectations that we can't meet for ourselves or that the other person cannot meet for us. And a lot of times what we tend to do is we sort of react to the inability for that person to meet those expectations, right? And it creates like this sort of superiority. Like when we have expectations for someone, even for ourselves, it's like, when we have expectations for ourselves, we're comparing ourselves to others and people that we think are superior to us. And we're trying to sort of achieve that status, that whatever it is that we're comparing ourselves to. So we put expectations on ourselves that we can't possibly meet, or that, we might have to sacrifice a part of ourselves to meet, or whatever the case may be. When we put expectations and conditions on others, this creates a superiority where we're saying, I'm up here and you're here, and my expectation is that you're going to meet me here. And if you can't do that, then this isn't, then there's something wrong with you type of thing. And then we judge that person, we judge, their abilities, et cetera, et cetera. So the 6, as well as the 33, really pushes us to meet everybody where they're at, right? Everybody has the birthright to be exactly who they are, to express themselves exactly how they want to express themselves, as long as they're not harming others, right? Truly harming others. Everybody has the right to be who they are in this moment. And what happens is, a lot of times when we're in the lower vibration of the 6, we have expectations of how others should present, how they should show up, how they should meet those expectations. And if they don't meet those expectations, then we begin judging, we begin, whatever actions we choose to take. Sometimes it can move to being reactionary, to taking it personal. And that's why I said the 4 Agreements is such a great book to read this week, because everyone has a right to be honest with us, right? We have every right to be honest with others about how we feel, what we need, what we're looking for, what we're capable of in this moment. And we need to not only express ourselves honestly, but accept other people's honesty as well. When we become reactionary to somebody else's honesty, we're saying that basically it's that conditional love. We don't accept you. We don't, you're not meeting the expectations that we're putting forth for you, because you're not showing up in the way that I need you to show up. You're not showing up in the way that I want for you to show up. And so the world at large sort of functions in this way, where, and this is why we have wars and we have division and we have, all this greater separation, is because we're not allowing the other person to be truthful and honest about who they are, what they need, how they feel, etc. And we also are not necessarily expressing ourselves in that way for fear of being judged, for fear of being ridiculed, for fear of not being accepted. And so I think the overall theme this week is really to be honest, be truthful about who you are, what you need, what you want, but also be accepting of other people's honesty as well. Create that space where, you're allowing the other person to tell you where they're at, to show you where they're at on their journey. And instead of judging it or creating that superiority effect, just allow them to be who they are, right? Meet them there. Does that mean that you have to be best friends or partners or, even be a part of their life? Not necessarily, right? I mean, good people are not always good together, regardless of what that looks like. It's when we start to judge and to create that separation and that division, or create that hierarchy or superiority, where we begin to say, I'm better than because this person isn't showing up in this way, or there's something wrong with this other person because they're not showing up in this way, etc. So when the 33 energy comes in, this is saying, this is all about unconditional love. This is showing up in a vibration of acceptance, compassion, empathy, forgiveness, and again, unconditional love, love without condition. And that doesn't mean tolerating poor behavior. That doesn't mean, allowing people to make you the doormat or allowing yourself to be the doormat. It just means that you are expressing yourself in a way that is truthful and honest for you and your experience. And you're creating the space where you're allowing others to do the same. That doesn't mean that you have to agree. It doesn't mean that you have to invite this person over to your house for supper. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means that you're accepting the other person as they are, right? Without assumptions, without judgment, without any of those things. And what that allows is, it allows you, ourselves to become free, because we become free of the expectations that we put on ourselves and the comparisons that we make with others. And it allows the other person to be free to show up exactly who they are, with acceptance and with compassion and empathy. Again, that doesn't mean we have to agree. It doesn't mean we have to buy into what the other person is selling or saying or expressing themselves as. Just means that everybody has the freedom to be able to do that. And that's what the 33-6 is saying. So ultimately, I'm running out of time, but ultimately this week, I could talk about this for 6 hours, but ultimately this week is about being honest and truthful about what you want, what you need, how you feel, and allowing others to do that as well without taking it personal and without becoming reactive. So big energy. I hope it's a great week. Take care. Bye for now.